I don't know. We'll say that's probably enough of a late. Hi, it's Genesis or Genesisn't. I'm Eric Allen here with Joe Drilling.
I'm the one they call Dr. Feelgood.
Da, 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 da. So, I think Morbid Coffee's hanging out somewhere, but he's got his mic muted because he's playing Overwatch in the background. So
That's right.
he's
But
being
if we can appropriately kickstart his heart, he might chime in during this.
yeah. See, not I don't know a lot about. So we're playing Crüe Ball. I guess this is Joe's response to Devilish, the breakout story-based breakout game that I played last week that was better in idea than it was in execution because the ball physics were bad. But so as you can hear, we're listening to some Genesis, Dr. Feelgood, and I guess that's
FM
supposed to be Dr.
synthesis.
Feelgood.
I believe that is the titular Dr. Feelgood himself.
I don't know a lot about Motley Crue.
They kind of suck.
I mean, yeah, obviously I know the hits, like Shout at the Devil or whatever, but
Isn't Shout at the Devil a Van Halen song? Am I
no,
crazy?
what's the devil song? Running with the Devil. Running with the Devil?
That's a Van Halen
I got
song.
it right. Fuck you. Okay. But yeah,
you're
glam
right.
metal
You're right.
is not really my jam. Although I do enjoy listening to Baby Pantera or Baby Alice in Chains. Getting their Lane Staley was in a band called Alice in Chains with a apostrophe N. That was like a glam metal band before Alice in Chains was a thing. And there's I can't remember the name of the Pantera album, but Pantera's
Power metal.
Yeah,
Power
album
metal
was a glam metal kind of a thing that really had some really special and amazing box art.
Yeah, so you know a lot. You used to write for a heavy metal site.
Right.
And so is this just glam metal? That's how we
I don't know. I mean,
categorize.
it's just rock, really. It's hard. Metal is hard, Joe. It's hard. I mean,
it is
because is Van Halen a metal band or are they a rock band?
I feel like a lot of people
matter. And
right.
It's hard because what was metal in 1975, early Scorpions albums or the early Judas Priest stuff, Sin After Sin. It would be difficult to if those albums came out today, you would just say that they were a hard rock album.
Right. In my youth, I sort of grouped together a lot of the new wave of British heavy metal with the glam bands, which
right.
I now realize was kind of a mistake. Judas Priest rips way more than fucking Poison or Motley Crue.
And Iron Maiden isn't even considered
Iron Maiden.
New wave of heavy British metal. They're just a heavy metal band. It's the classifications and that stuff is really weird. But Iron Maiden doesn't make any sense to put Iron Maiden with Motley Crue, say.
Right.
Because they don't really sound that much alike, although they had a lot of the same fans in that era, and you probably wouldn't have made a big distinction back then, but Motley Crue would not have been capable of putting out a song like Hallowed Be Thy Name, although
right.
Iron Maiden put out plenty of 3.5 minute bangers that were
let's
really
also be
great
let's be
singles.
real. Vince Neil does not have the pipes that Bruce Dickinson had,
Right.
you know.
But that's the thing about that. I think, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Whatever. Like what you like, but it makes a lot more sense to put Motley Crue and Poison and those types of bands in its own little subgenre. And
I do think that Motley Crue is a little better than Poison or Rat or Warrant or a lot
Bon
of those
Jovi.
Yeah,
Although Bon Jovi
Kickstart
didn't
My Heart is
quite
a
go
song that I
into the
No, not
makeup and
quite.
stuff in quite the same way, so it's weird.
Not quite.
And
But
then it's
I
also
think
there's glam rock, which is what Alice Cooper and David
right.
Bowie's early days
David
were,
Bowie
and
and
the
T-Rex
idea that
and-
David Bowie and those acts are the same as these in some way, but these are just heavier because they're metal. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
All that subcategorization stuff is it's best not to think about it. Hey, you know what? This game, though,
Yeah.
this game's okay. The ball physics are
Yeah.
a lot better than in than they were in Devilish. This ball travels in an arc, which is the one in
Right.
Devilish. The reason it was so hard for me to track sometimes was because it would just hit a wall and then it like would only bounce in like one of 8 or 16 directions, and this ball actually has an arc to it, so it's a little bit easier to predict where it's going to go.
Yeah, so this game actually started as a game called Twisted Flipper.
That is an awesome name.
Yeah, right?
It's my favorite. Hey, it's my Gales.
Yeah, it's my
Twisted
Gales.
Flipper is my favorite like DeviantArt Flipper fan art account.
I was going to say they're my favorite pinball-themed Twisted Sister cover band, but they're like the Mac Sabbath of pinball-themed cover bands. But then they were gonna try to EA was gonna try to seek out a license from MTV, and it was gonna be Headbangers Ball.
Okay, I would have been
and
more interested in that, depending on.
Yeah, and that was not a thing that they could get done.
Yeah,
and
so
then they just went to Motley Crue.
The license that they could get, because by the time this, like, Motley Crue hit its peak in like the late '80s, right? So by the time
'89 was their biggest album, I think.
Yeah,
Feel Good came out in '89.
So yeah, like that's what. So this game came out in what, 92, 93, right?
93.
Yeah.
92 in America, 93 in Japan.
Yeah, depending on which region. But by that time, I feel like Motley Crue and that sort of music had kind of been played out. Like this is post Nevermind and post 10 era, right? Like this stuff wasn't. Really
this is the same year, right?
It's
It's the same year that all that happened.
Was it? I thought 10 was like 91. I could be wrong about that, though.
It might have come out in 91, but it didn't gain like serious traction. I don't think
Nevermind
until
was like
92.
I think. I don't know. Anyway.
Nevermind is 92, I'm pretty sure. But like music moved a lot
This would have
slower
been
in the 1990s.
a much better use of the Michael Jackson license.
Yeah. Well, apparently this game was worked on by two dudes who had done. So the guy who did the music worked on some pinball games.
Black Knight 2000, motherfucker. I looked that up.
Yeah.
What's his name? Brian Schmidt.
Brian Schmidt, yeah.
Speaking of rocking tunes.
God damn,
Yeah.
Black Knight 2000 theme song is better than anything Motley Crue ever put out.
Yeah,
But
I
it was-
think I agree.
But it was designed by Mark Sprenger, who designed, most notably, probably High Speed is the pinball table I recognize the most from his oeuvre. But he also worked on the Diner Machine and the Space Shuttle pinball machine. But he is a pinball designer first and foremost. And he did this video pinball game.
Right. So yeah, so this was made by people that actually make actual pinball tables.
Right. And it's an American game. It's not like it's not like they took Devil's Crush and just like threw a Motley Crue coat of paint on it.
Right. What's the Alien Storm?
Alien Crush.
Alien
Crush, Devil's Crush, and then there's a Super Famicom one that never came out in the US called Jackie Crush. I actually thought about having you
Gleason
play.
licensed?
Yes.
Okay.
Bang, zoom
Jackie
to the
Gleason, Jackie
pinball.
Chan,
Jackie Chan pinball.
Jackie
That'd be great.
McMullen, the Boston sports writer.
Jackie
Right.
Robinson.
Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson.
Sure.
Oh man, I'd play the shit out of a Jackie Robinson themed pinball game. Yeah, I actually was debating between this or Devil's Crush, which is probably best known as a TurboGrafx game, but it did also come out on the Genesis. So
See, I did not know that.
yeah, it's not under the same title. It's under a different, I think, or maybe I'm thinking
Banger.
Alien Crush. And I didn't
One of
look it
those
up.
same game, different name kind of situations.
Yeah, kinda. Let's see. What is the Dragon's Fury is what it's called in the US. It was ported by Technosoft.
Are Motley Crue American or English?
They're American.
They're Americans.
So this isn't about sausages then.
No.
No.
There is no mash.
Yeah.
It's I guess it's headbanger, I guess.
Right. Well, yeah. Again, they were toying with Headbangers Ball license, as I said at one. Allegedly, according to Wikipedia.
I would
So,
probably, like I said, have been more into that.
Yeah. That is also a citation needed, though. So that's take that with a grain of salt, I guess.
I'm trying to. I've been watching you play this for like 10 minutes. Is there like an overarching goal, or is it just get points?
I don't know.
I know it's pinball, right?
Do
So
you know,
maybe
Joe? Can I access the other tables by doing well, or
yeah, I
just lost my last
believe
life,
so. I believe so. Let me take a look and see what GameFAQs has to say on the matter.
Game over. Player one score 1,276,000. Game over. Okay.
So the weird thing about video pinball is I feel like now the physics are so much better. Like when you play like those pinball arcade, which like they have like real pinball tables available as video pinball tables, the physics are like pretty spot on. There's a stage select code that I can give you if you'd like. It goes all the way up to stage 9. Are there 9 different tables?
Yeah, there's a
in this
whole
game?
bunch of music, and I was just checking out the music test thing.
Well, so that's how you do the stage select, as it turns out. So
okay, let's do that. Let's take a look at some of the other tables. I really don't know how I access the other tables if I have to do something, because there was a thing at the top of that table. So there's like 3 levels, and then there was a thing that I broke through, but I couldn't get past this like crazy skull head. But maybe if I got past that, I could. Maybe that's how I would access the next level. But I'll just cheat. I think that sounds totally fine. I like how Dr. Feelgood just shows up on the main menu sometimes to fuck with me.
On any level, you can play the bonus round. A way cool level with a new layout. If you drop all the rock and roll drop targets or the jump ramp targets, and then that's like a different thing. But let me see if there are actually different. If there are actually different tables, or if it's like. Okay, so the table is the same, but like more stuff. Like the stuff
Different
that's on the
enemies or
table
things,
comes
or-
out, yeah.
Okay.
You crank up the volume, man.
There's different
Except
music,
it's weird
but
'cause-
most of the music is by Brian Schmidt. There's only the 3 Crüe songs, which the Dr. Feelgood one is pretty good, but the other ones are kind of not as great.
okay, so advanced levels, you just have to score higher. So like,
Okay.
when you get
So
to
what's the level select?
the level select is go to the sound test and pick Twisted Flipper. And while the words are on the screen, press A, C, A, B and start the game. Press up and B to raise the volume level to the next stage.
A, C, A, B. And then what? Just start?
And then start, yeah. And it says press up and B to raise the volume level, which is the stage level.
Okay, yep.
And level 9 is the highest.
Let's go to level 3. Let's see what's up here. Oh, I didn't have enough juice. I do like that there's like a bonus score for charging this ball up, but yeah, if this is the only table, then man, if I had bought this game in 1983, I would have felt pretty ripped off.
Like, it looks like it would make a decent $2 phone game these days.
Yeah, like I said, the one thing that I did like was that the ball physics are pretty good in this. It actually moves in an arc, which is more than I can say for the Breakout thing I was playing last week.
Right. I mean, I feel like historically, Breakout games have not had good ball physics, like ever.
I guess.
So,
yeah, like they really always kind of move in a weird thing, but that one felt particularly bad.
This looks like a decent pinball game. I don't know that I'm in love with the table,
Yeah, the table doesn't seem great, honestly.
which is, pretty important.
Like I said, the fact that there's only one table with variations is kind of a bummer.
apparently there's a boss at the end, so
Alright, well, we'll skip to the end at some point.
like a giant head comes out of the top and you have to hit it in the mouth.
But like even
to kill it.
Pinball Quest has like 4 tables that you can.
Well, that's
just
a
play.
pinball RPG.
Well, no, it
Eric.
has
Come on.
it has the RPG levels, but it also has just like some tables you can just play if you just want to play shitty video pinball. They're not good
Right.
tables, but there's 3 of them.
Yeah, I feel like the Alien Crush, Devil's Crush, Jackie Crush are sort of the preeminent video pinball games. It's like a weirdly popular genre though, and I never really got into it just because, I mean, 1, I kind of suck at pinball, but 2, if I'm gonna suck at pinball, I'd rather just like play real pinball, generally
Yep.
speaking.
I
You know?
agree 100%. Yeah, like it
The
just
du-
doesn't have the tactile feedback of actual pinball without the clicky flippers and all that stuff.
Right. I mean, I will say if I'm ever independently wealthy, like I will get a Twilight Zone pinball machine and put it in my house.
Pretty good one.
Will we hire a full-time technician to make sure it works?
I'll just learn how to.
Well, I
Keep
mean,
it
if you're
up,
wealthy,
man.
then yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, also, if I'm independently wealthy, then like, yeah, I guess I will. So.
I'm trying to think of what other, but X-Files would be my first pick too. I love that. There used to be one. There was like a hot dog place that had one. That wasn't that long ago. That was like just.
There's
like
an X-Files
10, 15.
I mean, of course there is. I guess. I don't know.
Or not X-Files, Twilight Zone. There was an
Twilight
X-Files
Zone.
one too, but.
A lot of people really love. I was just actually reading an article from the Smithsonian, if you believe that, about how much people love the Addams Family table.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I played that someplace. There was a few pinball machines around, but by the time we were kids, it had kind of gone.
I feel like there was a
beyond
bit
that.
of a resurgence in the early '90s, though.
Right. Well,
with
like that Addams
Family,
Family one
Twilight
was
Zone,
based
and-
on the film, right?
Right, yeah, it was based on the movie with Raul Julia and Angelica Houston. And then there was like the Jurassic Park one, and there was the Terminator one where the launcher was a gun, and there was a
Yeah.
Last Action Hero one, and there was right now there's really only two companies that make pinball machines anymore.
Yeah. And then they make like
Stern
tiny runs
is the
right,
only.
as well.
Well, Stern does relatively decent sized runs because they've been in business for forever and a day. For a minute, they were Data East Pinball. If you remember any of those, like the WWF Royal Rumble pinball machine was a Data East pinball machine. But that was really just the Stern family. It was owned by Data East when they were in like a boom period, and they bought the Stern family.
And
But
they
then
were
the Stern
rolling
family
in all
bought.
that Battletoads money.
I guess, man, or that bad dude's money.
Yeah.
But then the Stern family bought it back, and now it's back to being Stern. But basically, like I saw like a short documentary about them, and they were just like, the only reason we can do this is because we already have all the stuff. Like we
Right.
have a facility to create pinball machines. So nobody else, like, there's no reason you would invest in a factory that builds pinball machines at this point, because there's not, like, you wouldn't make your money back ever. But we can do it because we have it. And then there's Jersey Jack Pinball, which is like, they do super limited runs. They do like very small machines. And actually Ben Heckendorn builds pinball machines too, but he does like only one or two. He did like a Bill Paxton pinball that we talked about a long time ago that he brought to the Midwest Gaming Classic, and he's
Game over,
done.
man.
He did a Lost pinball machine.
Didn't he
Poverty
not
Game
use that
Night.
sound for the end of the game?
Yep.
He did use that for the end of the game. When the ball goes, when you lose your last ball, he goes, "Game over, man, game over."
Okay, I thought he somehow resisted the urge.
No, definitely.
Which would make him a bigger man than I.
I think people would be like legit mad if that was the case. Poverty Game Night says a friend of mine made the Predator pinball machine. I don't remember the Predator table, but I mean that sounds like something I'd be into.
I think my local arcade had a Gilligan's Island pinball machine.
That sounds about right. Every licensed thing like became a pinball table. I had a friend who really was into Whodunit and like Theater of Magic. Those were tables. I have a friend who lives in Seattle now, and there's like a big pinball scene in Seattle. Like he's in like a league for like, and there's like, I don't know, at least 4 or 5 pinball bars in
Damn it.
Seattle. It's like, it's weird that like there's this resurgence. In
Yeah,
pinball.
I always wanted to go to the there's the thing in California every year.
California Extreme.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Where they do all the pinball stuff.
That's arcade and pinball.
Yeah.
If that's the same, you're
I
thinking
think
of the
that's
same
the
thing.
yeah.
They also have a lot of like unreleased, like they have like the Beavis and Butthead arcade game, which like never actually got a wide release. There's only like 4 known cabinets. Someone always brings that. California Extreme is a thing I really want. Huh?
Is that like a Ninja Turtle style brawler? Or I guess a style brawler, you might say?
No, I think it's more of a platformer than a brawler, but I've never actually played it, so I'm not sure. Poverty Game Night says the Predator machine was a few years ago. It was a pretty limited run. His friend's company is called Skip B, so there's at least one more small company still making pinball tables. But
I died. Yeah, I'm not a huge. I've always wanted to, but not enough to actually spend the money on him. But there's all those.
Pinball
There's all
Arcade.
those, yeah. There's like Pinball Arcade, and then there's that other one where they have all the classic tables remade in digital format. And I always have been like, especially whenever Jeff Gersman, I guess, brings it up on the Bombcast, like, oh yeah, I should check that out, and then I never actually do it. But
I mean, the cool thing about that is that they pay for.
yeah, they're like the real deal. They're as close as you can get without
Right.
actually having one.
Yeah, they shell out for, like, they've done Kickstarter campaigns to get enough money to pay for the licenses. So like,
Right.
you have the Star Trek Next Generation and the Twilight Zone and the Addams Family and the, like, all those
Yeah.
tables that you would really, and it's available on like fucking everything. Like anything that plays games, you can get those games
Any
for.
kind
which
of
is
tablet
cool.
or modern phone.
Yeah,
or whatever.
from
If you-
from your phone to your PS4, man, anything will play the Pinball Arcade games.
If you play those on a tablet, does it have like tilt? Like if you physically shake the tablet, will that cause the
I
table
think
to?
some of them do. Yeah.
Does this game have tilt?
Yes,
I
as a
don't
matter
know
of
how to
fact,
do
it does.
Oh,
I
yeah,
looked
if
at
you
an FAQ.
I think if you hit
and it
B,
said-
it does a little shaky shake.
I'm looking at this FAQ from Death's Child.
Uh-huh.
And let's see. B button will tilt the board.
Yeah, it was just doing that. You know, actually, the one sort of glam metal-ish band that I kind of... there is a couple of Wasp songs that are pretty okay. But
Really? That's
Yeah. The Headless Children is actually kind of a decent album. Or at least I have an appreciation for like they hew more towards actual heavy metal in some ways, but anyway. All right. Well, this is
That tells you what you need to know.
This sure is a pinball game. There's just not. If there was more boards or a little bit more going on, I would kind of like this game. But there's just not. This board just isn't.
You just spend 90% of your time in that one area.
Yeah, this board just really isn't doing it for me.
See, this is one of the things that I think of when people recently, like, you know, there's always that thing of like video games are so expensive now. And
Yeah, this
like,
game
can you
was
imagine paying
$50
fucking
probably, or maybe 60? Who knows?
50 or 60
The only
bucks
people who
and-
say that have no idea what video games used to cost. I mean, they're
They cost
I
the
mean,
same
that's-
now as they did back then, but the dollar
they
is
cost
worth
less.
a lot less.
They cost less. I was just looking at this website that I occasionally read. This dude basically travels in nostalgia, like, exclusively, and he posts his like random catalogs, you know, stuff like that. And he posted some like mid '90s Toys R Us, 1995 Toys R Us spring catalog. And man, let me just rattle off some stuff here.
Oh yeah.
So we're talking about WWF Raw for the Super Nintendo.
That's a bad game.
$73.
Yep. That's not a good wrestling game.
Now let's head over to the good old inflation calculator.
that one that had a lot
Remember,
of
Anthony has given us context for this. You can't really. It's not
He
one to
has
one.
given us context for this, but I'm still. Bureau of Labor provides a very nice inflation calculator. So let's see, spring. Let's go with April of 1995 and see what $73.
They had to manufacture chips and cartridges and plastic and stuff.
$73 then is $116.70 today.
And that's why we have DLC and fee to
Season
pay
passes.
bullshit and season
Right.
passes and like if the price of video games was just what they should be, then we probably wouldn't have to deal with all that stuff. But personally, I'm like, that's why that stuff doesn't bother me that much.
Well, also they fall, like, if you're patient, games drop so quickly.
Right. Yes. Like I got Doom for $20 4 months after it came out last year.
Yeah, the
Right,
whole marketplace for games is kind of fucked.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's why nobody
so-
can make any money. Like it's ridiculous.
The
we've
cheapest
talked about it
games
before,
on
but it's why I
this-
cannot. I always roll my eyes when I read like, "Oh, video games are so expensive nowadays." It's just like it's just not. It just ain't the case, man.
So the cheapest games on this in this ad are Kirby's Dream Course and Kirby's Avalanche.
Kirby's Dream Course is a stone cold classic, and I will not hear any.
Those are both great games.
Okay.
I like Kirby's Avalanche is Puyo Puyo, but like
Yeah,
whatever,
Kirby's-
that's
it's
great.
fine. But
And
Kirby's Dream Course is man, that
those-
game is one of how come there has been no Kickstarter attempt to make another Kirby's Dream Course. As far as I
How
can
come
tell,
Nintendo
there
hasn't
has
just
never
made-
been anything else quite like Kirby's Dream Course. Like that's
What is like an isometric golf platformer?
Yep,
Kind of, yeah.
that's the best way to describe it. 'Cause
You know what, Mike? If you come down here for if we do
Have you ever
Extra
played
Life
that,
all in the
Mike?
same place again, I have
not.
it
Because Joe and I played it for some
Yeah.
Extra Life at some
for
point.
Extra Life. Yeah.
I heard Kirby Dream Course, now I'm here.
See,
You should
everybody
check
loves
out
Kirby
the-
Dream Course.
Check out the Kirby Dream Course modding community, because there's people that make custom courses for the game.
Oh man,
Dang.
Sounds bonkers. That's what we're doing next week on this stream.
yeah, we'll have to check that out.
But the point is, those are $37.99 each, which is $60.75 in modern day money. So
Those games are considerably more substantial than Crüe Ball. Well, I guess Puyo Puyo Kirby is maybe not, but it's still Puyo Puyo is better than this somewhat lackluster.
did you
pinball
get
table.
Puyo Puyo Cross Tetris or whatever for your Switch?
Nope.
Or no?
It's out next week.
Yeah, it's still
Or
out.
this-
Oh, it comes out next week.
Yeah.
Well, you could import it though, because the Switch is
could.
region free.
And
So,
apparently, if you
Crüe-
buy it in Japan and then it comes out in North America, it's actually the
Gives you
same
access.
purchase.
Nice.
Yeah, you won't be stuck with the Japanese version.
Oh, really? That's nice. That's
I-
actually wow. I'm surprised that Nintendo's doing that because
Does that
right
have the
now-
same weird story mode that the one that came out for PS4 had? Is it the same thing?
I think so because I heard they're being really draconian about streaming.
probably
It's a Puyo Puyo story.
they're gonna give you a copyright strike if you stream spoilers for Puyo Puyo. Cross Tetris or whatever. But yeah, even PlayStation, like I have Gradius, because when the Arcade Archives Gradius came out, like I don't think they'd done any US Arcade Archives yet from the PS4, and so I just bought the Japanese version, and then like 2 weeks later the American version came out, but I'm still stuck with the Japanese version.
Yeah. Apparently, that's not how it goes on the Switch.
That's nice.
Nintendo's
That's
like
cool.
that, man. 2 steps forward, 2 steps back.
What?
Yeah.
I'm still. I don't know. I can't do anything except for play Persona 5 until I get done.
Until you're done with Persona 5.
But I really
Well,
there's
that's
that
not
Hollow
true.
Knight game came out on PC recently, and that looks like
It's on
something
Switch too, or
that I-
coming on Switch.
Yeah, it's not out on Switch yet, and there is no release date. But that is something that I would love to play on my Switch. Although it's $15 on PC, which means it'll probably be like $30 on the Switch. But
What is it? I'm not familiar. at
Hollow
all.
Knight,
It's like a
a
Metroidvania.
Metroidvania kind of a
2D
thing.
side-scrolling action adventure
Yep,
game in the
looks really
Metroidvania.
cool.
Those are really
It's,
hard, right?
It's
I don't know if it's
almost
really
like
difficult,
it's almost like the Monster World remake that came out, where everything is hand drawn.
but yeah, the art's really nice. It just looks like kind of a nice kind of pretty one of those, which I'm totally down for once in a while. And also, like, that just looks like something that I would want to play on my Switch. But yeah, that Monster World thing actually looks really good. I thought
Yeah.
about buying that for Switch as well, but that's not Switch. I don't think there's a Switch version of that out yet either.
I was gonna say it's not. It's PS4 and PC
Yeah.
only right now, isn't it?
Yeah, and Xbox? Or is there no Xbox yet?
This week was like an embarrassment of riches if you're into old video games. Like Disney Afternoon Collection came out, and that Monster Wonder Boy 3, Wonder Boy, and or whatever, the Dragon's Trap,
Yeah.
whatever.
All right. Well,
Confusing
we're not
title.
talking about
I-
Crüe Ball anymore, so this is
No,
just turned
we're
into
Eric
not.
wants to stop playing Crüe
a
Ball.
video game.
Yeah, no,
podcast.
that's fine.
So I'm gonna stop playing this. Yeah, this
Cool,
game,
so Crüe
the
Ball
ball
Genesis-
physics are very good, and I actually like the digital Dr. Feelgood rendition is pretty dope. The other two songs weren't so great, but the just music that the dude composed for this game is pretty dope. But the table is pretty boring. There's just not a lot going on, even in the.
That's
Even-
weird. I've heard so much great buzz from the Crüe Ball fan community.
Yeah, I'm sorry to let all those guys down. I know they were really looking forward to this episode, but I don't know. We'll
So,
have to,
do you have your board? Where's your board, man? Get out the board.
That's it, man. Show's over. We'll be back next week with some other Genesis game. Oh yeah, wait. This game, Genesisn't, worth probably playing.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
the
you have to
board
go- you have
the
to
board is
render a
just
verdict.
not the table's just not well designed enough. The physics are really good. Like I said, the ball physics are good. The ball moves like you would want it to. It feels good when you hit it with the flippers and stuff. But the board is too boring. I like the way it plays, but I don't like the design. If you had somehow like could fuse this and Devilish together to make a 16-bit pinball RPG with the Crüe Ball physics, I would probably be way into that. But neither of these games is really doing it for me. But anyway, that's it. We'll see you next week.
Everybody.
Good night. Goodbye.